Welcome to Creepy, the best horror storyteller on YouTube.
Part 1. Haunted Memories.
In the heart of the bustling Santa Cruz beach boardwalk, amidst the vibrant swirl of lights, laughter, and the enticing aroma of popcorn and cotton candy, a young girl named Adelaide Thomas found herself wandering off into the depths of a funhouse, her curiosity piqued by the mysterious allure of its mirrored corridors and distorted reflections. The year was 1986, and the boardwalk was abuzz with the carefree energy of summer, a stark contrast to the darkness that awaited Adelaide within the funhouse's labyrinthine depths. Adelaide, a precocious and imaginative child, had always been fascinated by the world of make-believe, her mind brimming with fantastical tales and dreams. The funhouse, with its promise of optical illusions and playful trickery, held an irresistible charm for her adventurous spirit. As she ventured deeper into the dimly lit maze, her footsteps echoing off the walls, a sense of unease began to creep into her heart. The shadows seemed to grow longer, the reflections in the mirrors more distorted, and the air heavier with an unseen presence.
Part 2. A Family Vacation.
Years had passed since that unsettling encounter in the Santa Cruz funhouse, but the memory of her doppelganger lingered in Adelaide Thomas's mind, an indelible mark on her childhood. The once bright and carefree girl had become withdrawn and introspective, her laughter replaced by a lingering sense of unease. The incident had left an invisible scar on her psyche, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the ordinary. Now, decades later, Adelaide was an adult, a wife and mother, her life seemingly far removed from the traumas of her youth. She was married to Gabe Wilson, a kind and supportive husband, and they had 2 children, Zora and Jason, who brought joy and laughter into their lives. Together, they formed a picture of a happy and well-adjusted family, a testament to Adelaide's resilience and determination to overcome the past. Despite her outward composure, Adelaide's inner turmoil remained, a hidden storm beneath a calm facade. The thought of returning to Santa Cruz, the site of her childhood trauma, filled her with apprehension. However, her family's enthusiasm for the vacation was infectious, and she reluctantly agreed to go. The journey began with a sense of anticipation, the family eagerly embarking on their summer adventure. The sun-kissed shores of Santa Cruz beckoned, promising days of fun and relaxation. As they arrived at the beach, the familiar sights and sounds of the boardwalk triggered a wave of nostalgia for Adelaide, but it was tainted by a lingering dread. The Wilsons were joined by their friends, Josh and Kitty Tyler, and their twin daughters, Becca and Lindsay. The 2 families, bound by years of friendship, were excited to share this vacation experience. As they settled into their rented beach house, the adults reminisced about old times, while the children excitedly explored their surroundings, their laughter filling the air. Amidst the carefree atmosphere, Adelaide couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The familiar sights of Santa Cruz, once a source of joy, now seemed to hold a hidden menace. The echoes of her childhood trauma reverberated within her, casting a shadow over the present.
Part 3. An Unsettling Presence.
As the days of their vacation unfolded, Adelaide's unease grew more pronounced. The idyllic setting of Santa Cruz, with its sun-drenched beaches and vibrant boardwalk, seemed to mask an underlying tension that only she could perceive. The carefree laughter of her children and the camaraderie of her friends did little to dispel the unsettling feeling that had settled upon her. The nights brought no respite from Adelaide's growing anxiety. Even in the comfort of her rented beach house, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The creaking floorboards and the rustling of wind through the trees took on an ominous tone, her imagination conjuring up unseen figures lurking in the shadows. One evening, as Adelaide sat alone on the deck, her gaze drawn to the mesmerizing dance of the moonlight on the ocean's surface, a fleeting movement caught her eye. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, its form indistinct but its presence undeniable. Adelaide's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the figure disappear into the night, leaving behind a trail of lingering dread. The following days were marked by a growing sense of paranoia for Adelaide. She found herself constantly scanning her surroundings, her eyes darting from shadows to faces, searching for any sign of the mysterious figure that had haunted her the previous night. Her sleep was plagued by unsettling dreams, filled with distorted reflections and menacing whispers, leaving her feeling drained and disoriented. Adelaide's unease began to affect her interactions with her family. Her once cheerful demeanor was replaced by a palpable tension, her responses often curt and distracted. Her husband, Gabe, noticed the change in her behavior, his concern growing as he witnessed her escalating anxiety. Despite her attempts to conceal her fears, Adelaide's inner turmoil was becoming increasingly evident. Her once vibrant eyes held a haunted look, and her smile, once so genuine, now seemed forced and artificial. The weight of her unspoken fears was taking its toll, threatening to unravel the facade of normalcy she had so carefully constructed. As the days of their vacation dwindled, Adelaide's sense of dread reached a crescendo. The once familiar streets of Santa Cruz now felt alien and threatening, the boardwalk's cheerful lights casting an eerie glow. She felt trapped in a waking nightmare, her past trauma resurfacing with renewed intensity.
Part 4. The Doppelgangers arrive.
The Wilsons' family vacation took a horrifying turn on a seemingly ordinary night. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars emerged in the velvety sky, the family gathered around the outdoor barbecue, their laughter and chatter filling the air with a sense of warmth and camaraderie. Unbeknownst to them, four shadowy figures emerged from the darkness, their movements eerily synchronized, their forms obscured by the veil of night. These figures were not strangers, they were the Wilsons' exact replicas, their faces contorted into grotesque smiles, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. As the Wilsons continued their evening meal, oblivious to the impending danger, the four doppelgangers silently approached their house, their steps light and calculated. They moved with a purpose, their eyes fixed on their targets, their mission clear. Suddenly, the tranquility of the night was shattered by a piercing scream. Jason, the youngest of the Wilson children, had spotted one of the doppelgangers lurking in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. His terrified cries echoed through the night, sending a chill down the spines of his family members. In an instant, the peaceful gathering turned into a scene of chaos and terror. The doppelgangers, their masks now removed, revealed their grotesque features, their smiles twisted and menacing. They lunged at the Wilsons, their movements swift and predatory, their intentions clear. A desperate struggle ensued, the Wilsons fighting for their lives against their uncanny counterparts. Adelaide, paralyzed by fear for a moment, quickly regained her composure and joined the fight, her maternal instincts driving her to protect her children. Gabe, strong and protective, fought valiantly, his fists flying as he tried to fend off his doppelganger. Zora, despite her young age, showed remarkable bravery, her agility and quick reflexes proving to be invaluable in the face of this terrifying threat. The battle raged on, the once tranquil setting now transformed into a battleground of fear and desperation. The Wilsons fought with every ounce of their strength, but their doppelgangers seemed to possess an uncanny strength and agility, making them formidable opponents. As the struggle intensified, it became clear that the doppelgangers were not simply physical adversaries, they were also psychological tormentors, their every move designed to instill fear and uncertainty in their targets. They mimicked the Wilsons' movements, their words, their mannerisms, creating a disorienting dance of reflection and terror. The Wilsons were not just fighting for their physical survival, they were also fighting for their sanity, their minds struggling to comprehend the reality of their situation. The doppelgangers, with their uncanny resemblance and distorted reflections, were a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within, threatening to consume them entirely.
Part 5. A Fight for Survival.
The Wilsons' desperate fight for survival continued, their home transformed into a battleground of fear and uncertainty. The doppelgangers, relentless in their pursuit, pressed their attack, their uncanny strength and agility making them formidable opponents. Adelaide, her maternal instincts fueling her determination, fought with a ferocity that belied her slender frame. She defended her children with unwavering resolve, her every move fueled by the primal need to protect her offspring. Gabe, despite his injuries, fought with unwavering courage, his fists bloodied but his spirit unbroken. He stood as a bulwark against the doppelgangers' onslaught, his determination to protect his family an unyielding force. Zora, despite her tender years, displayed remarkable bravery. Her agility and quick reflexes proved invaluable in the face of this terrifying threat, her every move a testament to her resilience and spirit. Jason, though initially paralyzed by fear, found strength in his family's courage. His cries for help had alerted them to the danger, and he now fought alongside them, his small hands clutching a makeshift weapon, his determination fueled by the love for his family. Despite the Wilsons' valiant efforts, the doppelgangers seemed to possess an uncanny advantage. Their movements were synchronized and precise, their attacks calculated and unrelenting. They appeared to know the Wilsons' every weakness, exploiting their fears and insecurities with a chilling precision. As the battle intensified, the Wilsons began to tire, their bodies battered and bruised, their spirits strained by the relentless assault. The doppelgangers, however, showed no signs of fatigue, their energy seemingly inexhaustible. Just when it seemed that the Wilsons might succumb to their relentless attackers, a glimmer of hope emerged. Amidst the chaos and fear, Adelaide made a startling discovery. She realized that the doppelgangers' strength and agility were not simply physical, they were also psychological. Their power stemmed from the Wilsons' own fears and insecurities, their ability to mimic and manipulate their emotions. By confronting their own inner demons, the Wilsons could weaken their doppelgangers, breaking the psychological hold they had over them. Armed with this newfound understanding, Adelaide rallied her family, urging them to confront their fears, to stare into the abyss of their own darkness and emerge stronger. With renewed determination, the Wilsons launched a counterattack, their resolve fueled by the realization that the true battle was not against their physical doppelgangers, but against their own inner demons. Adelaide faced her own doppelganger, the embodiment of her childhood trauma, the manifestation of her suppressed fears and insecurities. The encounter was intense, a psychological duel that threatened to consume her. But Adelaide refused to surrender to her inner darkness. She drew strength from her love for her family, from the unwavering support of her husband and children. With a surge of courage, Adelaide confronted her doppelganger, her voice echoing through the chaos, her words piercing the veil of darkness. She acknowledged her fears, her insecurities, her past traumas, and she refused to be defined by them. As Adelaide confronted her inner demons, her doppelganger began to weaken, its strength dissipating with each word of defiance. The other Wilsons, inspired by Adelaide's bravery, followed suit, facing their own fears and insecurities head-on. The battle raged on, but the tide had turned. The Wilsons, empowered by their newfound self-awareness, fought with renewed vigor, their attacks fueled by the light of understanding that had pierced the darkness. One by one, the doppelgangers fell, their power waning as the Wilsons confronted their inner demons. The home that had been transformed into a battleground was slowly reclaimed, the air thick with the scent of victory and the echoes of courage. As the dust settled, the Wilsons emerged from the chaos, battered but unbroken. They had faced their darkest fears and emerged stronger, their bond as a family forged in the crucible of adversity. They had learned that the true battle is not always against external forces, but against the darkness that lurks within us all.
Part 6. Uncovering a Hidden Truth.
In the aftermath of the harrowing encounter with their doppelgangers, the Wilsons were left to grapple with the unsettling reality of their experience. The physical wounds were slowly healing, but the emotional scars ran deeper, a stark reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their ordinary lives. Adelaide, in particular, was consumed by a burning desire to understand the origins of the doppelgangers, to unravel the mystery that had so profoundly disrupted her life. Haunted by the echoes of her childhood trauma, she felt an undeniable connection to these uncanny replicas of themselves, a connection that hinted at a deeper, hidden truth. Determined to uncover this truth, Adelaide embarked on a relentless quest for answers. She delved into the history of Santa Cruz, searching for any clues that might shed light on the doppelgangers' origins. Her research led her to a hidden network of underground tunnels, a labyrinthine world beneath the bustling boardwalk, a place that had long been forgotten by most, a place that held the secrets she sought. With Gabe and Zora by her side, Adelaide ventured into the depths of the underground tunnels, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. The air was thick with an unsettling dampness, and the silence was punctuated only by the dripping of water from the unseen ceiling. As they ventured deeper into the labyrinth, they encountered a group of individuals living in the shadows, their existence hidden from the world above. These individuals, known as the Hands Above, were the doppelgangers' counterparts, their lives mirroring the Wilsons in a twisted reflection. The Hands Above revealed that the doppelgangers were not mere figments of the Wilsons' imagination, but rather physical manifestations of their suppressed desires and frustrations, a dark reflection of their own unacknowledged shadows. They were the embodiment of the Wilsons' fears, their insecurities, their darkest thoughts and impulses, given form in the depths of the underground world. Adelaide learned that the doppelganger's emergence was a symptom of a deeper imbalance, a manifestation of the societal ills that had long been festering beneath the surface of Santa Cruz, a reflection of the injustices and inequalities that had been buried and ignored. The Hands Above explained that the only way to truly defeat the doppelgangers was not through physical force, but through a profound transformation of society itself, a dismantling of the systems that perpetuated fear, oppression, and inequality. Adelaide, overwhelmed by the weight of this revelation, realized that her journey was not merely a personal quest for understanding, but a call to action, a mandate to become a catalyst for change, to confront the darkness that lurked not just within her own psyche, but within the very fabric of society.
Part 7. A Descent into Darkness.
Guided by the Hands Above, Adelaide descended deeper into the labyrinthine network of underground tunnels, the path illuminated by the flickering light of her flashlight. The air grew heavier, the silence more oppressive, as she ventured into the heart of the forgotten world beneath Santa Cruz. The Hands Above, their faces etched with the weight of their hidden existence, led Adelaide to a hidden chamber deep within the tunnels, a place where the boundaries between reality and reflection blurred. In this chamber, a vast mirror reflected the world above, but not as it truly was. Instead, it reflected a distorted, nightmarish version of reality, a world twisted by fear and oppression. As Adelaide gazed into the mirror, she was confronted with a chilling reflection of herself, a manifestation of her deepest fears and insecurities. The reflection stared back at her, its eyes burning with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. The Hands Above explained that the mirror was a gateway, a portal into the minds of those who dared to gaze into its depths. It was a place where the darkness within could manifest, where the suppressed desires and frustrations of the above-ground world could take physical form. Adelaide, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination, stepped into the mirror's reflection. She found herself transported into a distorted version of Santa Cruz, a world where the familiar sights and sounds were twisted and grotesque. In this nightmarish reflection, the streets were filled with grotesque creatures, their forms a twisted mockery of humanity. The buildings were crumbling and decaying, their once vibrant colors replaced by a palette of bleakness and despair. Adelaide wandered through this desolate landscape, her footsteps echoing in the oppressive silence. She felt a sense of profound isolation, a chilling realization that she was trapped within the reflection of her own fears. As she ventured deeper into this twisted world, she encountered other doppelgangers, not just reflections of herself and her family, but of the entire town of Santa Cruz. They seemed to exist in a state of constant torment, their faces contorted in expressions of pain and anger. Adelaide watched in horror as the doppelgangers tormented their above-ground counterparts, their actions a reflection of the injustices and inequalities that had been buried and ignored for too long. She saw the mirror as a manifestation of the societal ills that had long been festering beneath the surface, a reflection of the darkness that lurked within us all. But amidst the despair, Adelaide also witnessed a glimmer of hope. She saw the hands above, their presence a beacon of light in the darkness, their actions a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They worked tirelessly to help the doppelgangers break free from their torment, to guide them towards a path of healing and understanding. Adelaide realized that the mirror was not just a reflection of darkness, but also a reflection of the potential for change. She saw that the doppelgangers were not simply evil creatures, but rather victims of a system that had failed them, their darkness a reflection of the injustices they had endured. Inspired by the hands above, Adelaide made a vow to help bridge the gap between the above-ground world and the underground world, to bring about a transformation that would not just heal the doppelgangers, but also address the root causes of their suffering. She knew that the journey would be fraught with challenges, but she was determined to confront the darkness, both within herself and within the world around her, and emerge stronger and more resilient.
Part 8. A Path to Redemption.
Emerging from the depths of the underground tunnels, Adelaide felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had witnessed the suffering of the doppelgangers, a reflection of the injustices and inequalities that plagued the world above. She had also seen the resilience of the hands above, their unwavering commitment to healing and understanding. Adelaide knew that the path to redemption would be arduous, a journey that required confronting not just the darkness within the doppelgangers, but also the darkness within society itself. She was determined to bridge the gap between the two worlds, to bring about a transformation that would heal the wounds of the past and create a more just and equitable future. Back in the familiar surroundings of her rented beach house, Adelaide shared her experiences with Gabe and Zora. They listened with rapt attention, their faces etched with concern and determination. Gabe, ever the supportive husband and father, pledged his unwavering support to Adelaide's endeavors. He recognized the weight of her mission, but also the strength and resilience she possessed. Zora, despite her young age, displayed a maturity and understanding that belied her years. She saw the parallels between the doppelgangers' suffering and the injustices she witnessed in her own world, and she was eager to play her part in creating a more just and equitable society. Together, the Wilson family embarked on a journey of activism and social change. They joined forces with the hands above, sharing their knowledge and resources to help the doppelgangers break free from their underground prison. Adelaide became a vocal advocate for the hands above, using her platform to raise awareness of their plight and to challenge the societal norms that had perpetuated their marginalization. She organized protests, rallies, and community forums, giving a voice to those who had long been silenced. Gabe, with his strong leadership skills and pragmatic approach, became a key figure in bridging the gap between the above-ground world and the underground world. He worked tirelessly to establish communication channels, facilitate trade agreements, and promote cultural exchange. Zora, with her infectious enthusiasm and unwavering optimism, became a beacon of hope for both the hands above and the wider community. She organized educational workshops, art therapy sessions, and community events, fostering understanding and empathy between the two worlds. The Wilsons' efforts were not without opposition. They faced resistance from those who feared change, who clung to the status quo, who benefited from the systems that perpetuated injustice. But the Wilsons were undeterred, their determination fueled by the hope of a better future. Their perseverance paid off. Slowly but surely, attitudes began to shift. People began to question the systems that had long been in place, to recognize the injustices that had been perpetuated. The hands above were no longer seen as monsters or aberrations, but as victims of a flawed society, deserving of compassion and understanding. The transformation was not just external, but also internal. The Wilsons themselves underwent a profound personal growth as they confronted their own biases and prejudices. They learned to see the world through the eyes of others, to recognize the shared humanity that transcended their differences. The journey to redemption was long and arduous, but it was ultimately a journey of hope and healing. The Wilsons, along with the hands above, had shown that even in the face of darkness, there was the potential for light, that even in the depths of despair, there was the possibility of change.
Part 9. A Confrontation with the Past.
The final confrontation with the doppelgangers loomed, a culmination of months of preparation and inner struggle. Adelaide, her resolve hardened by the trials she had endured, stood at the precipice of a reckoning, ready to face the embodiment of her own suppressed fears and insecurities. As she descended into the depths of the underground tunnels, the oppressive darkness seemed to thicken, pressing in on her with a palpable force. The air grew heavy, laden with the weight of countless unspoken fears and buried traumas. Finally, she reached the heart of the doppelgangers' domain, a vast chamber illuminated by an eerie, flickering light. There, amidst a crowd of distorted reflections, stood her doppelganger, a grotesque mockery of herself, its eyes gleaming with a malevolent intensity. The doppelganger's voice echoed through the chamber, its tone dripping with malice and scorn. It taunted Adelaide, mocking her past traumas, her insecurities, her deepest fears. It sought to break her spirit, to consume her in the darkness that it embodied. But Adelaide stood firm, her resolve unwavering. She had confronted her inner demons, acknowledged her flaws and vulnerabilities, and emerged stronger. She refused to be defined by her doppelganger, to be consumed by the darkness that it represented. With a voice that resonated with conviction, Adelaide declared that the doppelgangers had no power over her, that they were mere reflections of a past that she had overcome. She asserted her right to a future free from fear, oppression, and the shackles of her own self-doubt. The doppelganger recoiled, its form wavering as Adelaide's words pierced through its defenses. It had expected fear, submission, but instead it found strength, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of change. The confrontation intensified, a battle of wills waged in the depths of Adelaide's psyche. The doppelganger fought with a ferocity born of desperation, its attacks fueled by the fear of its own dissolution. But Adelaide was no longer the vulnerable child who had been haunted by her reflection in the funhouse. She was a woman transformed, her spirit tempered by adversity, her resolve unshaken. With a final surge of determination, Adelaide confronted her doppelganger head-on, her voice echoing through the chamber like a clarion call. She declared that the darkness would no longer define her, that she embraced her past but refused to be shackled by it. As her words reverberated through the chamber, the doppelganger's form began to dissipate, its malevolence dissolving like mist in the sun. The other doppelgangers, witnessing their leader's defeat, lost their grip on their own power, their forms dissolving into nothingness. The chamber was bathed in an ethereal glow, the oppressive darkness lifting like a veil. Adelaide stood amidst the fading echoes, her heart filled with a profound sense of liberation. She had confronted her darkest fears, stared into the abyss of her own psyche, and emerged triumphant. As she emerged from the depths of the underground tunnels, the sunlight felt like a warm embrace, a symbol of the new beginning that lay ahead. She had not only confronted her own inner demons, but had also played a pivotal role in bridging the gap between the above-ground world and the underground world, fostering understanding and empathy between the two. The journey had been arduous, fraught with challenges and setbacks, but Adelaide had emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient. She had faced her past with courage and emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to embrace a future filled with hope and possibility.
Part 10. A New Dawn.
Adelaide emerged from the depths of the underground tunnels, blinking against the sudden brightness of the sun. The familiar sights and sounds of Santa Cruz greeted her, a stark contrast to the oppressive darkness she had just left behind. She carried with her a profound sense of transformation, a lightness in her step that reflected the weight that had been lifted from her shoulders. The confrontation with her doppelganger had been a defining moment, a catalyst for personal growth and a turning point in her journey of self-discovery. As she walked along the bustling boardwalk, she noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The air seemed lighter, the smiles on people's faces more genuine, the interactions between strangers more cordial. It was as if the darkness that had once permeated the town had begun to recede, replaced by a glimmer of hope and optimism. Adelaide knew that this change was not just a reflection of her own transformation, but a testament to the collective effort of those who had dared to confront their own inner demons and embrace a path of understanding and empathy. The hands above, once hidden in the shadows, were now emerging into the light, their presence no longer a source of fear, but a beacon of hope. The town of Santa Cruz was undergoing a metamorphosis, a transformation that rippled through the hearts and minds of its inhabitants. The walls of prejudice and fear were crumbling, replaced by bridges of understanding and compassion. Adelaide witnessed this transformation in the eyes of her children, Zora and Jason. They had once been haunted by the memories of their encounter with the doppelgangers, but now their eyes sparkled with a newfound sense of wonder and possibility. Gabe, ever the steadfast pillar of support, stood by Adelaide's side, his hand firmly clasping hers. He had witnessed her transformation firsthand, the courage and resilience she had displayed in the face of adversity, and he knew that she was destined for greatness. Together, the Wilsons embarked on a new chapter in their lives, their hearts filled with a renewed sense of purpose. They continued to work alongside the hands above, advocating for social justice and fostering understanding between the two worlds. They became symbols of hope, their story inspiring others to confront their own inner darkness and embrace the light of change. Their journey served as a reminder that even in the face of fear and oppression, there is always the potential for transformation, that even in the depths of despair, there is always the glimmer of hope.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.